His smile lights up the room, or rather the cab of the locomotive. Folks gather round as he holds the pull cord. He's a showman through and through. You'll want to cover your ears now for this next part. Sure doesn't help much. Engineer pulls that chain and the whistle blasts inside your skull. He just smiles through it all. Man must be half deaf. A round of applause erupts from the small crowd. He passes out bubblegum to the shell-shocked kids, half of them in awe, half in tears. Remember now who gets you there on the advertised. Casey Jones. Everyone's all talk as they head back to their seats. That engineer sure is handsome. Gosh, and that whistle sounded just like a whippoorwill, didn't it? Ain't this the way to travel?
My coals burn low and my trains run out of track. Won't be no.
The shanty sits on the shore like a lie on a con man's tongue, crowded by thick-spined trees. There's an old man on its porch, and a child, and what looks like 1,000 alligators knotted across the property. My love's being stubborn, sighs a voice behind you. Washed in the half-light, the voice's owner is a certain strange shade of handsome. He leans a shoulder against a tree, smiles at you. You gotta help me talk some sense into her. All I need is 5 minutes. She won't let me through. That look on his face. It could strike down God from their hallowed halls. He exhales, a thin cut of noise, before he dips his chin. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I should. Maybe I should tell her sorry like I should have done 10,000 years ago. Well, come on then. He crooks a finger at you, and then nimbly, he prowls up to the borders of the house, picking his way through the alligators. Woman, come out of your house now. A voice ricochets through the air, wry and wreathed in warning. Ain't nothing good'll come of that. At the reprimand, the man turns to you, a questioning look, cocked. You open your mouth, and what comes out isn't a word, but the note of a song you'd not been taught. At the noise, the gators twitch like you'd run barbed wire along their bellies. Go home and leave the gators, says a voice from inside. You ain't wanted here. Well, you know that's not how it's done. When a man loves a woman, she stays with him forever. Now you come out now, before my friend sings a bayou down to his death. The man and child do nothing. You keep singing. All three of you cut loose from personal choice. A woman emerges. Blunt black hair, hungry eyes, face full of warning. This ain't your fight, stranger, she tells you gauzily, storm-cloud eyes holding your own. Suddenly, your throat's your own again. Leave, she nods at you, gratitude in the curve of her mouth. Whatever you hear, don't turn around. Her concern proves unfounded. The alligators prove surprisingly quiet about their business. Eyes like rolling dice and easy bargains on his breath. He said you don't need that pain. He sings as he works, his voice warm and soft as the late afternoon sun. The air's sweet with the tang of recently cut sugarcane. There's a practiced, almost soothing precision to the way he works. He looks up, nods hello. Making molasses. he says to your unasked question. I sell the blackstripe in town. Farmers use it for feed. Bitter as hell. Got some set aside. He comes back with a murky flask, waving off any offer of payment. I ain't charging. Folks around here need what they can get. Makes a mean loaf of bread. He nods at the barrels. I'm about done filtering. Got to boil it next. Lend a hand? You help him haul the barrels over to the metal boiler. You pour in the juice and set the fire. It's hot work. He fetches water and dark bread, and you share the small meal and a smile. It's good to find another who takes joy in honest labor. A family of 9 invites you into their home for a meal. Hogs roam free in the yard. They wallow in shady patches of cool mud, not paying any mind as you pass. During supper, the hard wind puts an awful burden on the walls. The glass dishes rumble on the table, but the mother seems calm.
Can't butcher a hog in these parts without me, Ma, hollering for pig's feet.
The mother's heavy sigh gives you the impression her children ask this often.
Me, Ma, wants more pig's feet. Heaven can provide.
You've enjoyed a break on the beach, staring off the edge of the world. But the sun is starting to go down, and the breeze is getting stronger. As you're about to stand, a man plonks down near you. He sits a polite distance off, but looks at you expectantly. He smiles weakly. I just got fired. First Spanish-American radio host in the state, and they fired me. They needed to make cuts, I get that, but I'm twice the... He trails off. I don't know what I'm going to tell my wife. I could try the docks, but there's already more men than jobs, and I could barely support the family on what they pay. He hangs his head. And my boy, I can't bring myself to tell them. I don't know what to do. He calms as the sun drops below the horizon. An expanse of darkness is ahead of you. Turning back to the lights of the city reminds you that the world hasn't gone away. After a long silence, he speaks. It's never going to get better, is it? He doesn't reply. After a minute, you feel along the sand in the dark toward where he sat. Your hand closes on a discarded shirt. The rest of his clothes make a path to the edge of the water. You can't follow him any further. A sign in town says a farmer is hiring for the sugarcane harvest. A bag-eyed man drives you and 10 hungry strangers out into the cane, where he leaves you. Everyone gets a hatchet, but no instruction. The foreman is missing for some reason. Nobody is sure what to do. A young man in a red jacket stuffs all the hatchets in his pack. "This is stupid," he says. "I'm leaving. You can get $5 for a nice axe like this." He marches off into the cane and others follow. "Don't!" a young woman shouts after them. "It's not right." The thief left some hatchets behind, so you and the 3 chumps left start chopping cane. It's brutal work. None of you know what you're doing. "Keep going," the girl calls. Her hands are bleeding, and her face is bright with sweat. Soon, her cane is piled high. Sometime after noon, the truck rolls up with a boozy foreman riding shotgun. "Good work," he croaks. The girl wipes her blood-pinked hands on her apron to take her pay, but doesn't notice the crumpled body in the back of the truck, or the hatchets heaped beside it. You emerge from the underbrush and find yourself at the edge of a field. A farmhouse sits at the other end. Close by, a large family is tending to the plants together. They pause and regard you, almost nervously.
Hello there?
The grandmother asks. The family is almost too nice to you. When you ask for water, they don't even let you walk to the pump by the house. A child runs back to the shed for a folding chair, and they serve you lemonade in a glass among the lettuce heads. Halfway through your glass, you notice someone moving furtively down by the house. The cuffs of his white shirt are stained red. The father sees your look and shifts to block your view. His eyes are bright, and his teeth are bared in something like worry.
How do you like your lemonade?
His wife arrives with a bag full of sandwiches for you, and the whole family ushers you back into the woods, waving, wishing you well. You take one look back over your shoulder. The man by the wall is gone.
Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found.
You look good, honey. You got a life? You like a good story? I like to hear about people and make bets with them. I like to hear about the weird, handsome people. Get convinced by the rich jackasses who'll play blackjack and lose into the night. Dames who are lit cigarettes burning to the end. I want to be around furious people who use me and I use them. Are you one, stranger? Come close to me. Hey, got any exciting stories? Like the movies? Honey, thrills is the stuff I live on. That one will keep me going. The law? I can get by with the law. The law thinks I'm a victim, a sad girl of the streets, a damaged girl, a girl who ain't got no fate and whose daddy didn't love her. My daddy's dead, and all cops are in my pocket, stranger. I will tell you that if I tell you anything. The law is bad for us Roman kids. It does not serve us. But you learn to get that sad, pale girl on. They love that. Sometimes you gotta promise them something more and, well, I don't say it's pleasant, but you born in a body. Sometimes people treat you like you need the power taken from it. Got any stories with ghosts or murderers or blood or something like that? Damn, you're giving me the chills, sweetheart. I don't know if you've been on the road that long, stranger. 'Cause you ain't got that exhaustion in your face about moving 'cause you have to. Sometimes you just can't with people. And you, well, you look so hungry for talk right now. Sometimes I'm in a hold'em with 5 other people and I look around and I think, I ain't been alone for 5 hours, and I might set fire to this whole place and walk out of here. You ain't there yet. Hey, got any exciting stories? Like the movies? Well, they should let you make the movies, honey. I won big back in Reno and I got obsessed with luck. I was drinking absinthe at the time and smoking only darn European cigarettes that made me cough like a mule, and boy, after that win, I drank the green very good and smoked like a redwood bonfire. And you know what I learned? I learned to pick my tables and expect music on the job. Shit. Got any stories with ghosts or murderers or blood or something like that? Just what I asked for. Sometimes, you know, I think, what would it take to make you stop, Miss Dupree? Maybe it's love that would make me stop roaming and stop betting. And I think sometimes boys are like gambling, ain't they? You put all your concentration on them, you grift them, you follow them, you wait for them to pay off. But sometimes you just get shot in the stomach. And you wake up in that hospital and think, I ain't for love, Joe, I ain't for it. I can't be cared for, I can't afford it, no sir. Hey, got any exciting stories? I thought about starting one once. Maybe just a one-night stand with one of the handsome ones, you know. One of the ones that wins or buys the brandy or who tells you could come straight out of that hopper painting, and they are so gentlemanly like that. And I could just never tell them what happened to my belly and have my own family. Me and my little one, and we'd gamble together and stake the world. Next time, let's up the stakes, shall we? Why don't we spend some time with bourbon and 5-card stud? You bring the bourbon, of course. And when the moon's fuller, I might let you in on some secrets on life. Have you any?
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my
electric lamps stipple the cotton field before you with an orange light, moving like a group of lethargic fireflies. From the field, the voices of the workers reach you in a soulful, united song. You're gently lulled to sleep as the song floats over you. Hello, Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. Hello, Lordy, pick a bale a day. You're pulled out of your slumber by a woman's pained scream and a collection of shouts rising from the field. The woman's screams taper off, soon replaced by the raw cries of an infant. Applause briefly fills the night, eventually fading back into song. Oh, Lordy, you wake up to the gentle crescendo of the worker's song, unsure if it ever ceased at all. Faded shotgun houses sit in rows under the tall shadows of smokestacks. A worker in full uniform hollers from a porch. "Hey, traveler, throw me inside. Got some literature here." As you shut the door, the man glances out the window and draws the shades. "Landlord toss you out? Ha, don't mind me, it's none of my business." He pries up a floorboard with a crowbar. You glance over the man's shoulder to see inside the compartment canned goods, a pile of leaflets, the wood stock of a rifle. He replaces the board and stands. He hands you a can of whole potatoes, then a leaflet which reads, "No evictions, no fascists, no hunger." "Headed back to the shop, but we'll have a Bible meet soon." Bible meet. If you don't know James 5:1 by heart, learn it. That's our favorite scripture. You weren't supposed to see this. Outside town, two men, identical, stand sentry over a third body half covered with a canvas sheet. "You might as well grab a shovel, being that you're here," the man in front says. When you hesitate, he makes an appeal to your Christian charity. You and John dig a hasty grave while his brother stands back, keeping a lookout. Closer now, you see the corpse shares their face. "Tom was the oldest by an hour," John says. "Oh, I guess George and me, we got a few hours on him now. Mean son of a bitch. Beat the life out of us. Did it our folks that way. Got to be too much, so last night we said we'd do him in. George dragged him out here to do it. I would have helped, but George is a strong one out of me and him. Thank Jesus Tom's gone. I thought I'd have trouble saying that, but I don't." John squints at the body, then freezes. "Wait, Tom's nose wasn't bent like that." Despair floods his face. He looks ready to throw up. You leave him to it.
Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song be found. My space
A bus roars up on the road behind you and slows to a crawl at your side. Inside, you can barely see people moving, dancing, swaying. Strings of lights, strange smoke.
Want a ride?
The driver calls. Before you can open your mouth, a huge hairy hand like an animal's paw lands heavy on her shoulder. "Not this one," a voice growls, so deep it vibrates your rib cage. The driver shrugs and leaves you in a cloud of perfumed exhaust.
And the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who'll bury me.
Lost in your own head, you almost walk straight into this woman in your path. Her expression is imperious. She clasps a large toddler in her arms. He's the one who speaks first.
This is a toll road, stranger.
He says, voice thuggish beyond his years.
Look at me.
The toddler orders.
Look at me. You're dealing with me.
The woman, through her silence, suggests assent. Dismissively, you toss some coins at the ground. The toddler, wide-eyed, leaps from his mother's arms after his loot.
Raymond, no!
She shrieks. Raymond hits the gravel and shatters, sending porcelain fragments skittering over the road. The two youths jump when they hear you.
Oh, thank fuck. Thought you were our pa.
The boys are near identical. Tall, ash blonde, blue-eyed and smothered in freckles. Even their temperaments seem alike. Their quick smiles are gleeful.
Do us a favor, would you? We need you to take these sheep away.
He points at the sheep. The tiny lamb is suckling. Its wool is blood-stained. Can only be a few hours old.
We don't care what you do with them. We just need them off the farm. Revenge, mostly.
The boys are grinning. Was that a joke?
Pa gave Lenny
Lenny nods.
a beating for stealing from our neighbors. Wouldn't listen. It was me, not him. So we're gonna hurt Pa back. He was up all night. Was a breech birth. He'll feel the loss. Well, you can fuck off then.
Was that Lenny or the other one?
You're just another fucking do-good. Think we want to steal? Not like Pa pays us for our work. We take what we deserve.
The look the boy and his brother share is vicious. As you head away from the field, you pass the porch of a farmhouse. An old man lies in it dozing. He's surely the twins' father. The man stands, yawning apologies. At your words, he sits again heavily. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I'd see him off the farm, but they'd have to believe I'd follow through on my threats before they'd go. He sighs. What did I do wrong? Policeman minds you for news from anywhere but here as his radio burbles. You catch a snippet.
Armed robbery in progress at...
Before he turns it down, he waves a hand.
Yeah, it's just Willie. Every month after his paycheck goes in, he marches into the bank with his .45 and demands cash. Candace gives it to him. and deducts it from his account later. Right you are. No harm in it. Truth is, Billy just ain't very good at using banks. That's no crime.
Gunshots sound a few blocks away. His eyes widen. He kicks the car into gear and roars off, shouting into his radio. You get to the bank several minutes later. There's a crowd gathered round the entrance, blocking your view. But the action's over. A woman turns to you.
Someone came in waving a shotgun. Willie was there, put him down, but... Poor Willie.
Down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul.
Are they all here for the bar, or did any come to hear me? He turns and starts, but recovers swiftly. Thought you were the manager. He laughs. Not here for an autograph, are you? No, of course not. Did you hear me sing? I suspect you're just being kind. He sighs. I'm a good singer. I packed larger joints. Only the drinkers come here now. They don't give a damn about me. He smiles. It is false, but still warm. Why are you here? A traveler? I used to be one. Was singing my way to New York. Got trapped here. Didn't feel like a trap at first. He grabs the glass, swigs, winces. It's love, of course, or used to be. Can you hate the person you love? He sighs. My fiancée doesn't trust me. Singers are fickle. You'll fall for another. So I stay and my music dies. A glinting track on his face. The path of a tear. The person you love doesn't trust you. No point in proving him wrong. My place, you'd leave, wouldn't you? True romantic. Stick to it till the end? He shakes his head. Damn. You're right. I can't leave her. I'll just have to pray she comes around and joins me on the road. He grimaces. This fucking town. He's seen better days. Hard times all over, the bull says archly, with what seems to you an aristocratic air. Its blood, still fresh, pools around your feet. Oh, if you see my father, the bull calls after you, the rolling lilt of his voice like a lullaby. Tell him what happened, won't you? Lenny's Antiques has a heady smell. Polish, maybe, or incense. Sunlight doesn't penetrate the blacked-out windows. The place is crammed with furniture and curios. The woman behind the counter beckons you over.
I know the look of you. I know what you're here for.
She sets a tray on the counter. On it sits a hodgepodge of stitched leather pouches of various shapes and sizes. Some have neck or wrist straps looped through them. She waves a hand across the display.
Good luck charms. I don't want your money. You got something better.
She licks her lips, holds out a flat palm. Her knife is fast. She slices a thin line across your palm, then snatches your hand and squeezes. She catches the welling blood in a murky glass vial. Your vision flickers, and as you blink, the place lightens. Sunlight streams through the windows. You are alone. As you reach the door, a man calls after you.
Is this yours?
His name badge reads Lenny. He's holding up a leather pouch by its strap. You take it and hurry out of the shop. His eyes light up when he sees you.
Excellent. I'm short for the morning edition. Fancy giving a quick interview? People around here are always keen to hear from outsiders. Plus, there's a fee in it for you.
The man throws you a few soft questions and scribbles shorthand into his notepad.
That's great. Let me get it typed up.
He disappears into the back. He left today's paper on his desk, but it looks off somehow. You struggle to make out the words. Instead of letters, the paper's printed with curved symbols and sharp glyphs. The layout and photos are normal, but the text is wrong. He rushes forward and catches you by the wrist, pulling you towards the door.
It's not for you.
He thrusts a coin into your hand.
You need to leave.
The centers of his eyes bear two matching glyphs. He slams the door behind you. The sign above the door is written in those glyphs. Was it English before? Every street sign and business name bears the same incomprehensible symbols. The townsfolk watch you go.
Up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep the last rights tucked in my soul.
This office is trashed. There's papers scattered in the street, glass missing from the windows, and 6 men in paint-smeared clothes tracking mud all over the floor. One calls out,
Hey, you looking for Baker? Well, let us know if you see him. He says he's too broke to pay us for the last job, so we're too tired to leave his office.
The thought strikes him, and he holds up $1. Halfway to the sandwich shop, 2 cops stop you. They fish the $1 out of your pocket, plus a little extra.
We're doing you a favor.
One laughs.
Keep out of this. Those wise asses don't need lunch. We got guys coming to pick them up.
Far and long. When the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. This will be
You find yourself in a poker game on the third floor of the Winecoff Hotel. Sometimes these things just happen. The man with the burned face to your left, he never gave his name, growls at the smiling man seated on your right. You ain't got the stomach. I killed men for lessons in that pot. Smiler plays on and takes the hand. The burned man bares his teeth. This hand comes down to the burned man and Smiler. Walk away, boy, says the burned man. Smiler drops his grin. Ain't your boy, Roy. Roy's eye twitches. Smiler outplays Roy again, and a new hand comes around. You've got an okay hand. Not a world beater, but not nothing. For a moment, you think you have it. But Smiler calls and you're outclassed. You finally hit a decent hand. Roy is still staring at Smiler. What'd you say your name was?
I didn't, but it's Jackson.
Jackson, repeats Roy. I knew a Jackson once. There's a fierce look in Roy's eye. You play your hand well, but Smiler has you beat. He takes the lion's share of the chips on the table. Roy cashes out and slips away. You play a few more rounds, but that hand practically sewed up the game. As you leave the hotel, you smell smoke. You cross the street and look up. Flames have engulfed the third floor, where you played the game. The fire spreads hungrily. People are leaning out of windows on the floors above, but you can't see any way to help. Takes a shine to you. He leans in too close and talks about the true music of the soul people who know him, about the things he's done. Everyone else in the club is focused on the stage, but he ignores it and talks to you. The man assembles his horn, and the musicians welcome him on stage for a jam session. He plays a melody of mourning, the sound of an empty glass on a dusty bar. The regulars nod and applaud. He sits beside you again, glowing with muted pride. Never had his own band, never had a life to go home to. His mistress was the music, and in a dingy club like this, he embodies the music played all around. He unravels a crinkled letter from a famous band leader, a constant reminder that the best times are behind him. Soon, he nods off at the bar. You gather your things and leave. By the door, however, you see a faded old gig poster. You recognize him in the big band ensemble posing there, younger, smiling brilliantly, sharply dressed. But you cannot remember his name.
Much to find that can be found.
I say, You there!
shouts the boy, sitting on the broken stairs of a sand-swept shack. His imperial affect seems at odds with his shabby clothes and sallow skin.
I shall pay you this enormous, beautiful, shining coin if you would only dance for me.
You attempt a solo foxtrot. From the get-go, the boy is clearly unenthused. After 2 repetitions, he throws a rock at you to make you stop.
I didn't like that,
He informs you.
but I always honor my debts.
He hands you the coin, just as his mother calls him in for supper.
I got no companion except the wind and the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who bury me.
The row of buildings looked abandoned from the outside, but a man scrambles to his feet as you come through the door. Red rims his eyes, and his whole body is wound taut.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! No closer!
He brandishes the tool at you.
You tell Daggett I'll get his money.
He looks you up and down and lowers his impromptu weapon. You see the tremor in his hands. He's scared or exhausted.
Sorry, I thought you were... It doesn't matter. You mind your own. I can handle myself. I just needed to make sure I had eaten money until I found work.
He sniffs.
These people don't like it when you're late. Only for loan sharks.
He rubs his eyes.
I go a few towns over or might find something. These people ain't the understanding type. They'll think I'm skipping out on the debt.
He waves a hand.
You should go. Anyone asks, you never saw me.
As you walk back down the street, a couple of dark figures emerge from one of the doorways. They look you over, and one speaks in a smoker's rasp.
You. Seen anyone around here? A big guy?
He says.
Well, if you see someone, mind how you go. This ain't a good place to be after dark.
Bare bones of the earth, I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for
A woman in a feather boa leads you through a series of exhibits. Monkey heads sewn onto a fish, rubber fetuses jarred in formaldehyde, a headless chicken corpse.
Lived without her head for months, but she never heard the car.
She says in a sad tone.
You have fine taste, I can tell. No, not offended. Follow me.
She takes you past curtains into a small tent with no signs or ticket podium. Centered in the room, a veiled birdcage, domed and made of brass. Your host invites you forward. Inside the cage, a vampire bat hangs from a wooden perch. It squeaks at you. Then its other head, a little slower, also squeaks.
Meet my beautiful baby boys, Laurel and Hardy.
With introductions over, Laurel goes back to sleep. Or maybe that was Hardy. Whichever one is still awake watches you with beady eyes. The curator curls her knuckles in anticipation.
Go on then. Don't be shy. Give him a little scratch through the bars.
You hear a shout as you unlatch the cage door. Laurel and Hardy take flight, out of the tent and into the sky, too quick to be stopped. The curator stares, brows scrunched in confusion.
You know, they'll just come back. They always return to Mama.
Come down for to take me hand in hand. This will be my tale, my vagrant song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
Bleh. Oh, God, not another.
He meets your eye and shrugs.
They're not mine. I'm not a shepherd, I'm a teacher, but they just keep coming.
A flash of panic crosses his face.
What if they never stop appearing? I'll drown in sheep. It started a day ago. I was sitting on a tree stump, musing about my job. I'm stuck where I am, can't get a promotion. Wished I'd chosen a different path. And then, bah! A sheep is munching away next to me. Yes, like that. I looked for a gap in the fence, figured they're from a farm. Nothing. And 3 more appeared while I searched.
He sounds desperate.
Started yesterday. Now I have 43 sheep. I can't escape. People will think I'm a thief. Wouldn't you ask the provenance of sheep? Wonder why a teacher had some?
He looks tired.
Perhaps I've lost my mind. Or this is a dream, and you're not here. Thank God.
He sits.
Now please, go away. And make them go. I will lie down and wake up.
He shuts his eyes. The sheep switch their attention to you. As you walk, they follow, but slide out of existence one by one, with a sound like sighing.
Upon my weary back, I'm gonna keep a lacerate tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole.
You glance up, and the sky is suddenly filled with monarchs. Billions of them rising out of the fields and streaming across the road.
I got no companion.
You sit in the shade to watch them, and before you know it, the tree above you has a new coat of whispering orange leaves. They're resting, like you, gathering their strength for the next leg of the journey.
Arms who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by
A Chevrolet idles outside a dusty filling station. A man bends over the radiator, sweat beading on his face. 2 girls in matching flower sack dresses sit beside the car. The man looks up as you approach.
Got a moment to help me fill the radiator? Sure do appreciate it.
The man tells you.
It's a wonder we get anywhere, what with the goddamned radiator always breaking. 3rd town in a week. I keep looking for work, but haven't found anything.
He shrugs.
Gotta be jobs somewhere, right?
He laughs and claps you on the back with one grease-streaked hand.
Of course there is. Not in the next town and the one after that. There was nothing at home for my girls. I didn't want them growing up like that.
The radiator is full.
Maybe I'll see you up the road a ways.
Scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground.
I take a look at you, figure we're heading to the same place. You've been walking a long time, same as me, trying to find where you fit. You ever wonder if that place don't exist? No shame in it, I do. Plenty of time I wonder if I'll just walk forever. You start to wonder, how did I get here? When you're alone, all you have is all this time. Time to trace the lines back to where things started. You got any exciting stories? Anything that'll get my heart going? That's one surprising tale. Must be nice to have a home, place to call your own. Under crop lean, I didn't really own shit, if you excuse my language. You buy things to pay off at the end of the season. And soon you realize even your own bed ain't a guarantee. So, tell me a sad story. Sad and true, okay? I hear you. Family. The Sharecroppers Union told me they were like a family. You ever get in a firefight for your brothers and sisters? But anyway, you know any good true tragedies? Body and soul. No one would say my father was free. Sometimes I think about whether my father would find my life all that different from his. But anyway, now I feel like hearing a hopeful story. Got any of those? I think about the past sometimes. I never wanted nothing but to be a farmer, to do honest work, get an honest wage. I ain't never gonna be a farmer now. Not much used to think about. You got any good happy stories where things work out for someone maybe? A story about happy people, something that's mine. Isn't that what a man always wants? Home, you might call it. 40 acres and a mule. Here's the sun, and I got to get going. My route goes up this way, but I sure did enjoy talking to you. It's probably the kind of story you've heard a million times. Down on your luck, need work, take whatever you can get. How about you? Does my life sound familiar?
'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't need much to find but can be found. Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my way back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my
Want your picture taken?
run out of track.
The man's smile is eager. His teeth are sharp. His companion glances up sharply.
I told you, I don't like it. No more till we know it's safe.
The second man spits his words out.
We're killing people. We take their damn picture. A few weeks later, a newspaper wants it, and it's always a fucking obituary.
The sharp-toothed man shrugs.
Traveling alone is dangerous. Not our fault. So, want a photograph?
Neither responds immediately. The sullen man barks a laugh.
Not so sure now, are you? It's your damn camera. Fuck it, I'm no coward. You getting the photograph? So will I.
His goad works. His sharp-toothed companion jerks his chin up and strides in front of the lens. The men rush to their darkroom. They're out barely 20 minutes later. Neither looks happy. The sharp-toothed man thrusts the picture at you.
Doesn't make sense. Must be broken.
His image is sharp, in perfect focus.
This will be my tale, my vagrant song.
The woman hauls a bin of clothes over to a vat of gray water. She's sluggish. Moving seems to take great effort. She plunges a shirt into the vat, begins working it over a washboard. Despite her slow movements, there's an inexorable intensity to the way she works. But her eyes are bloodshot and glazed, her lips cracked and split. She can't have slept or washed in days. She collects the next bin, moving with the shuffle of a sleepwalker. You enter the nearby shack. A man's inside, sorting through a jumbled bag of dirty clothes.
You hear about Celia? I know how it looks, but she's fine, really. Since her daughter vanished, all she's been able to do is work.
He smiles.
Best worker I ever had.
He jabs a finger at you.
This isn't your business. Others have tried to help, but it's no good. All she wants to do is work. She gets agitated when she's disturbed. I make sure she doesn't work herself to death. I'm all she has. You,
She snaps.
level with me now. Would you walk 10 miles every day with heavy bags under your arms and a silly box on your head for some bent, double-crossing, hopped-up, out-of-shape man? That's what I said, too, at first. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you.
Well, I met a man downtown. Smile as white as death. Eyes like rolling dice, and he's talking songs. Said you don't need that pain, child. But how about something you when you get that toast.
From the windows of the store, you can hear a radio turned all the way up, tuned to the Grand Ole Opry show being played across town. Two young girls sit outside listening to the music. Suddenly, it cuts off, and they howl in protest. Despite their obvious vexation, neither of the girls seems inclined to enter the store to see why the broadcast ceased. They seem to be preparing to leave on their bikes. When you approach, one says,
Don't bother. Always stops exactly this time, every week.
The other one matter-of-factly says,
That's when he died.
and before you can ask anything else, they've ridden away. The window is so grimy you can barely see through the glass. But it's obvious there's nothing to see anyway. It's dark and empty. There's certainly no radio, nor any people. Just a lot of sad dust, marked where the furniture used to stand. Old memories, carted away.
Hey there.
The man looks anxious.
Don't suppose you saw something shiny on the ground as you walked this way? Might have caught your eye, glinted like a coin or a piece of glass?
The man is devastated.
I lost my girl's grandma's ring. I got her ma's blessing today. She gave me the ring to propose with, and
He turns his face away, but his jagged breathing gives away his tears. He gulps down his sorrow.
sorry, I can't replace it. If I could afford to buy one, I wouldn't have accepted her mother's offer. I'll find that ring if it kills me.
You walk in slowly increasing circles with his potatoes at the center, but find nothing. You're half a field away when something winks at you from the dirt. It's a simple gold ring with a bright solitaire diamond. Must be the engagement ring the man was looking for. Doesn't take long to retrace your steps, but the potato seller is gone, as have his sacks of spuds. When you uncurl your hand, there's nothing in it but a small, shiny coin. An old woman watches as you approach her bench. "Oh, aren't you a good-looking one?" she says. A broad smile creases her face. "This is an excellent spot. Everyone passes me eventually." She pats the seat beside her. "Join me for a moment." She rests her head against your shoulder, as if you were old companions. "Look." She runs a hand down your arm, points across a field to a lone tree silhouetted against the skyline. "I think of myself as like that tree." She glances at you, waiting for a reaction. "Strong, healthy, alone. I've seen that field filled with plants and ravaged by fire.
The trees outlasted everything. She giggles, strangely childlike. I've had 3 lovers. 2 men, 1 woman. Outlived them all. I don't grieve. Each one brought me joy, and each death brought someone else to comfort me.
She sits up straight, shifts to face you. The tilt of her head is coquettish.
Would you let me kiss you?
Her laugh degenerates into a cackle.
Your loss. Well, I always was an excellent kisser, but perhaps you've got someone else. Remember, there always can be someone else. Doesn't do to get hooked.
Peabody Hotel. The words adorn the exterior wall, each letter the size of a window. The lobby is upholstered furniture and gold chandeliers, but such luxury is a mere accessory to the centerpiece. A travertine marble fountain in which 5 ducks swim, a handsome bunch of feathered fellows, all having a nice time in the water. A bellman in a blue cotton uniform, black cane cupped in his hands, takes notice of your interest in the waterfowl.
Would you happen to be here to witness the duck march?
A wide smile crosses the bellman's face.
Oh, a newcomer. Well, this is a little ceremony I introduced. Every day I march these babies into the elevator all the way to the roof. Then I march them back down to this fountain.
The bellman gestures toward the closest duck. You notice now, the ducks have had their flight feathers trimmed, though their beauty remains intact.
Now, don't look so concerned. I spoil them rotten. The feathers will grow back.
The bellman taps his cane on the marble. Right away, the ducks honk up a frenzy and hop out of the fountain. They beat the water out of their wings and waddle toward the elevator, guided by the bellman's cane. Magnificent. What sweet, gentle creatures.
I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found.
I wanted to be the best blues singer in the world. By God, I was. I was born a poor girl in Memphis, Tennessee. No father, he run out. No mama either. She was there, but she weren't there really. All alone but for my Uncle Richard, my baby brother Marcus. All alone but for the guitar. Tell me a story to make me laugh. I could use a chuckle. The world ain't all sunshine, joy. One thing that brought me joy. My Uncle Richard. Ooh, he plucked those strings like Jesus himself was in his body. Nothing in the world like that sound. I'm in the mood for a good, hopeful story. You got any? It's good to light the darkness every once in a while. Love. Well, I would have done anything for my brother. Anything, yeah. Ooh, how about a story about the dark and scary things in the world? Oh, that's a scary one. I don't like to think about the past. When I lay down to bed now, I hear Marcus cry out to me. He's hungry, he says. When I was a girl, all I wanted was to help him. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. I drink to that. I got stories about sadness. Something in my mama just broke when my father left. Couldn't get her to eat most days, let alone feed me and my brother. Ooh, how about a story about the dark and scary things in the world? Sends shivers up my spine. Yeah, I heard stories about fate. Man, he told me with my voice and my songs I was gonna be a star. Sun is up. One more night gone. I need to be going. If you want to hear more about the deal I made, you can look for me up the road this way. I was about 25 when I left my first record contract. No more richer than I was before. Those men took me around like a freak show, me and my guitar and my sad songs. I didn't know what to do once I was free again, alone, drinking my sorrows. And that's where the devil found me.
man lowers his paper as you come near. His weather-beaten face is drawn. They say it's spreading. The dust is strangling the land. Half my cattle suffocated in the last storm. We cut open the carcasses to salvage the meat. They were filled with mud. He licks his cracked lips. They stay dry. His land is dying. If the harvest fails again, people will too. You look past him, over his dust-choked fields. You can't imagine anything growing here. There's as much luck to be had around here as there is rain. He glances at the empty sky, then fixes his eyes on you. Nah, harvest will fail, the land will die, and all this will turn to desert. You walk on, trying to ignore the feel of sand in your shoes.
Ride with us a little while, stranger.
It's a kind offer. Miles of dusty road through the rolling prairies have recast this landscape as an exhausting soup of wind and misery. There are 4 of them on the wagon, a perfect nuclear family. Mother, father, son, daughter, and a small fuzzy terrier trailing behind.
Ain't no point rushing to get where we were going.
The wooden cart shivers with every pebble on the road that its wheels must laboriously traverse. Time stretches wearily. The father sometimes makes half-inch adjustments to the horse's trajectory, keeping him from ambling off the road. There is some intimation that they are heading for Oregon. Baby buffalo lies tangled by a fence, wire biting into its flesh. Please, it says, I must reach the sanctuary before they find me. The light here has a thin quality. Colors are oddly muted. There's a taste of something old in the air. They were hunters of my kind. I am the last born. Every year it repeats. I must run. They must chase. It is the cycle that lets my people survive. You hear hoofbeats. A ways back down the road, a cloud of dust rises. The buffalo struggles. Please, help me. The wire cuts into your hands, but you untangle the animal. The buffalo charges off as soon as it's free. Come on! You glance behind. A trio of riders emerges at the head of the dust cloud. You run alongside the buffalo. Not far. It grunts. Just ahead. You see the boundary, a line of rocks that mark the border, but the hoofbeats sound close. The ground dips, and the beast stumbles and falls. I'll be on you any second. You snatch up the beast and run for the boundary line. All you can hear is the pounding hooves and the whooping of the riders. They're on you just before you reach the line. You hurl the buff forward as you fall. The buffalo crosses the line and turns with a defiant bellow. A primal sound that far outstrips its size. It drags its feet through the dirt, kicking up a cloud of dust. When it settles, the 4 are nowhere to be seen. You hear the distant clamor of a herd in motion. The car is a lifeline. Your one hope to escape the encroaching storm. It rattles along a few yards ahead of the storm front, jouncing and juddering, one pothole away from being swallowed by the choking dust. A figure clings to support straps mounted on the back. You grab the straps and haul yourself up.
Oh,
Shouts the woman on the back.
a fellow observer.
She's wrapped in a scarf and aviation goggles, juggling a pen and a notebook while hanging onto the unsteady car. The dust scours your face and rips at your clothes.
We're not done with our observations.
She threads one arm through the straps and makes another attempt to write, but it comes out illegible.
Blast it. Get inside and take dictation, will you?
You clamber through the open back window, and she hands you pen and notebook. You scribble furiously while she dictates the finer qualities of the dust and wind assaulting the car until her voice is hoarse.
That'll do.
She bangs on the roof.
Judith, let's go.
You've seen migrant camps before, and they tend to look like the town dump. This one, though, on a good day, this could pass for a town. Starched white tents stand tall and many, and a stroll through the grounds finds you neither trash nor trouble. You pass through a shroud of flies into a curtained waiting area. The air is pregnant with the stench of rotten meat, but the area is empty. It wears a black overcoat and a white porcelain mask with a fat, sharp beak. Over a shared, crusty loaf of bread, the farmer notices you looking at a prominent, tattered scarecrow in the field.
Oh, you like old Barney. Does a damn good job scaring the vermin. Shame about the real fella. He was a funny one. Old Barney hiding out in our stables and lofts, just passing along. When he disappeared, leaving just the clothes we gave him, I figured I'd put him to use. Never got to know his proper name neither.
Across the field, the wind in the corn whispers. Or is it the scarecrow? There's a truck parked here. The driver mistakes your look for curious.
We've been surveying, he said. It's my job to study soil health.
The trunk has a map taped to it, marked. It's an official-looking map, but the
Well, I'm gonna slow my day on the bare bones. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. Well, I'm gonna have my spade as I find my way back. I'm gonna keep love in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of gas, won't be no one else dig my
Storm swept in just before sundown, heralded by a purple sky and electricity in the air. He sought shelter alongside a grizzled farmer. All he can do is pace, muttering to himself.
Can't just stay here.
You catch.
Gotta find her.
He looks up at you.
My daughter was out down the road.
He balls his fists.
God, fuck this.
He hauls open the door, shielding his face from the fierce dust. He runs out into the storm. The dust scours your skin, and razor winds whip at your clothing. You struggle for breath. The maelstrom has turned the world murky red. You press on through the storm. You see the farmer up ahead. He's on his knees. A great, dark shape made from swirling dust looms over him. You manage no more than a cough. The dust thing engulfs the man in his body. The storm whips faster. You can't breathe. You have to get back to shelter. You make it to safety, but don't manage any sleep. Storm settles in the early hours. You find the farmer laid out in the street, his corpse a shriveled mass. He has one arm stretched out in front of him, as if to crawl. Deep in the fields, you come across a group of young men clearing weeds and sod from a roadside plot. Pitchforks flying, weeds dying. You almost don't notice that the dark lump beside them is a dozing boy, lying smack dab in the middle of their work. There's an odd frenzy to the way these boys are ripping the sod apart. When they notice you approaching, they jog over and stand silently between you and their sleeping comrade. The youths share nervous looks. The oldest steps forward.
Get going.
He blurts, leveling a pitchfork at your gut. His hands are shaking. He seems serious. You hurry off, but the boys don't check to see if you've really left. From the top of the next rise, you watch them lift the motionless boy and carry him farther back into the field. It's only when they move him that you realize his wrists and ankles have been bound.
Why, hello there. Look like that's a heavy bag you're carrying. Let me get that for you. I insist. See this uniform? It means you can trust me to make sure this is the most comfortable journey you've ever had in your life. Who am I? Well, I'm no George, I'll tell you that. But that's not important. This trip is about you, friend. Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those. Just like I told you, friend, miles of smiles, joy. A good porter always finds his own happiness in the joy he brings to passengers through good work. You know what we call this job? Miles of smiles, friend. Miles of smiles. Anyway, I'm in the mood for a good happy story. You got any? Positive attitude. That's what I like to hear. The past, that's a tricky thing. Yes, porters may remind you of a certain type of way folks of our type used to be. There's no fight in that, just happily working past it. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them? Hear that story on the radio? You told it better though. Home is where we go back to. It's where we belong. But there's nothing wrong with spending a little time in the rest of the world every now and again. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them? That's a wild one, all right. Authority. Hopefully people who ride in a Pullman car feel a little of that. It's about more than a train ride. And not everyone knows what it's like to be the boss, to know what it feels like to be skillfully served. Pullman porters give you a taste, so boss George Pullman will know you'll be back for more. Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those. Travel, we've all got places to be, and we've all got to get there somehow. So why not get the getting there to be as good as it can get? See, that's really important when getting there is all you got. Another night over. I surely did enjoy all those stories though. Maybe next time I'll let down my hair a bit. What do you say? You must excuse me, friend. What kind of porter am I saying this trip is all about you, only to start talking about my own damn self? But enough of my indulgences. I hope I see you again.
The rain is coming down so hard. It's a wonder the sidewalk hasn't started to crack. You manage to find a narrow patch under a ledge where you can stay dry. A squat man, bundled up in a black fur coat and matching hat, approaches. The thick rain flattens and mats his fur. He squints up at you.
You're in my spot.
He thanks you as you step aside, back into the rain. You keep walking, hoping to find more shelter. Now that you see the man from a distance, you're not sure the fur is a coat. A pair of red eyes shine back at you. The rain stops a minute later. You look back up the road, but the squat man is gone. Surrounded by fields of corn and rye, a small farm lies fallow. Its tiny stable crumbles into disrepair, and foxtails sprout from its fields. Inside, the sunlight filtering in through two small windows turns to hazy gray shafts in the thick dust that blankets the interior. There's not much in the way of furniture, but on a rustic kitchen table, a handwritten note catches your eye. Never opened. It's addressed to Martha and unsigned. Her name is written in the stiff letters of a man for whom literacy is more a formality than habit. If you find this, I'm already gone. Don't come looking for me. The rest is scratchy spirals and circles of halfway readable writing about the noises from the cellar and the hunger in the darkness. The cellar door at the edge of the abandoned kitchen calls to your attention. The door is unlatched. The ground below is deeply stained with some dark residue you can't identify. Upon it, only ancient piles of chains and manacles, slowly. Here, can you find her? His voice is soft, cooing. He's lowered himself down so that his head is level with the two blonde-topped boys next to him. Can you find Grandma? They're pulling ears of corn off stalks with uncommon gentleness. You don't really say anything. You're just interrupted by the sight of the man's face, a subtle hole under his eye socket. I didn't see you there. The wormy body of a stalk borer crawls out of his skull. You'd best be moving on, Drifter. She's getting married, the soldier tells you. The two of you observe the church from the dusty road, straining to hear the faint joy of the ceremony transpiring within. I fought for 10 years to come home because she said she'd be here, waiting for me. And look, can you believe it? So what am I supposed to do? What does she expect? That I should throw myself from the nearest cliff?
walk into the ocean? He snorts, sets off down the road. You wait a while. Eventually, the bride emerges from the church, alone, and looks out over the cornfield. When she sees you, and only you, her posture falls in a full-body sigh. She picks up the hem of her dress and goes back inside. The Twisters touch down in a cornfield, fence posts flying in its wake. A huge black stallion charges toward the tornado. On its back, the cowboy whips his lasso through the churning air, nearly matching the Twister's speed. His wild laughter carries on the wind.
God damn it, Bill!
Another man hollers, clapping his hands to his hat to keep it from flying off.
Quit being a damned fool!
The man on the horse turns toward him and flashes a beatific grin before digging his heels harder into the horse's flanks. His Stetson goes flying, caught by a gust. He doesn't seem to notice. He barks a single yee-haw as he stands in the stirrups, leaning into the whirlwind. In a moment, man and beast are enveloped in the storm. All you can hear is Bill's wild laughter. Stacks of suitcases grind the parked Model A deeper into the dirt. An extended family inside defies the carrying capacity of the vehicle. The driver leans out the window. Want this? He swings a violin around by its neck. 10 bits. We need it for gas. You hear a muffled pounding from somewhere within the car. 6 bits, then. We need it for gas. The pounding becomes frantic. The back door breaks open, and a girl crawls over the laps of dusty bodies.
Don't you dare! That belongs to Louise Ames!
She shouts at you.
Louise Ames!
She's dragged back into the writhing nest of limbs, and the door slams shut. On your way, the driver tells you. A woman waits while a man in a truck fills 2 of her buckets with scoops of whitish powder from a bin. She sees you staring.
Want to make some cash?
She takes you up the drive to her farmhouse, where her son and daughter are mixing something in a metal barrel.
Locust bait,
She says,
poison. The town bought enough for everyone, but we gotta mix it ourselves.
She'll pay you to help. You use a broom handle to mix the poison with bran. The teens watch from the porch, faces frozen in distrustful scowls. Their mother pays you well, but later in the day you feel lightheaded, tingling pins and needles all over. You feel only a little better after you vomit.